Boris Johnson faces a brutal grilling as he's hauled before the COVID inquiry this week. Here are some of the key questions Mr. Johnson must answer under oath. Does he admit saying "let the bodies pile high"? Boris Johnson has repeatedly denied claims that he said he was willing to let the bodies pile high, including in television interviews and in the House of Commons. But in a statement to the inquiry, his former No. 10 Chief of Staff, Lord Lister, said he'd heard it. Mr. Johnson will be asked under oath if he still denies making the remarks. Why didn't he learn lessons after locking down late? Matt Hancock last week admitted that many lives were lost because the first national lockdown was imposed 3 weeks later than it should have been. Despite the mistakes made in March 2020, the government was slow to introduce both the second and third national lockdowns, which came in November 2020 and January 2021. Why did he go on a 10-day holiday as COVID hit Britain? The inquiry has heard that Mr. Johnson received no emails, COBRA briefings or written papers about COVID for 10 days during the February 2020 half-term, even though the first cases of the virus had already been found in Britain. Why didn't he sack Dominic Cummings over the Barnard Castle row? The inquiry has heard that Mr. Johnson wanted to rush to scrap COVID restrictions as a distraction after it was revealed that Dominic Cummings had broken lockdown rules. The Mirror broke the story that the PM's top aide had driven 264 miles from London to his parents' property in Durham in March 2020 despite having COVID symptoms. Did Matt Hancock repeatedly lie when Health Secretary? One of the things that has been raised time and time again by key witnesses is Matt Hancock not telling the truth to ministers and officials during the crisis. Was he bamboozled by the science during the pandemic? One of the most unexpected things to emerge from the inquiry was the claim Mr. Johnson asked scientists if people could kill COVID by blowing a hairdryer up their nose. Sir Patrick, who was chief scientific advisor, has said Mr. Johnson was often bamboozled by graphs and that watching him get his head round stats was awful. Does he regret the parties in Downing Street? The inquiry has heard that No. 10 became toxic and dysfunctional under Mr. Johnson's leadership. In a WhatsApp in June 2020, Cabinet Officer Simon Case wrote, "It's like taming wild animals. Nothing in my past experience has prepared me for this madness. The Prime Minister and the people he chooses to surround himself with are basically feral."